Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 516 based on novel. So let's start. The Outer Realm cultivators condensed essence from the power of Joss flames to nourish their whole body and become eternal. However, in the Inner Realm, Joss flames were rare and had become a problem. Not only did this prevent people from entering the third step, but after reaching the third step, if too much essence was consumed, it would be difficult to recover. Wang Lin hadn't relied Joss flames to reach the third step. He had relied on his comprehension to complete his 3 ethereal essences. He had devoured to complete his thunder and fire essences. As a result, he didn't need Joss flames at the third step, he just needed essences that other people had formed. Devouring endless amounts of essence would recover his cultivation and increase it. Similarly, his body didn't have a Joss flame realm like normal spirit void cultivators. There was no need to fuse the Joss flame realm with his body to reach a state of perfection. Wang Lin's body was an ancient god boy, which was something beyond perfection. It was with the combination of his ancient god power and cultivation that he could kill early-stage arcane void cultivators at the mid-stage of spirit void. Wang Lin even dared to fight mid-stage arcane void cultivators. Although it would be difficult to determine the winner, it would still be very difficult for them to kill Wang Lin. The third step path Wang Lin had taken was very different from that of other cultivators. Even the 7-colored Celestial Sovereign walked a different path. Even the 7-colored Celestial Sovereign required Joss flames, only the Joss flames he absorbed were not poisonous. It wasn't that no one had walked Wang Lin's path, it was just extremely difficult. It was a matchless path with endless possibilities. If he wanted to become an arcane void cultivator, then he would need to obtain a few more essences and complete them. When other people reached the third step, it was almost impossible to complete another essence. However, it was very different for Wang Lin. He could still obtain a 7th, 8th, 9th, and even 10th essence. Also, because he didn't absorb Joss flames, his essences didn't possess the fatal flaw of not being able to reach completion after becoming a third-step cultivator. What he needed now was to find a 7th essence. Once he obtained a 7th essence, he would reach the late stage of spirit void. If the 8th essence appeared and reached completion, he could reach the peak of spirit void. With 9 essences, he could step into the arcane void stage. Then all 9 would fuse back into 1. If he had the wisdom and fortune to fuse all his essences together and turn them into a power called the Void Power on the immortal astral continent, he could face the calamity at the third step. Once he survived this calamity, he would become a Void Tribulant Exalt. The difference between Void Tribulant and Arcane Void was a life and death calamity. Success meant life and defeat meant death. Throughout the ages, there were no exceptions, and it was a gap everyone had to face. This calamity was referred to as the Arcane Tribulant. It was divided into 9 stages, and after surviving all 9 stages, one could successfully step into the Void Tribulant stage. Even someone as strong as the Sovereign had only gone through 3 Arcane Tribulants and didn't have the courage to endure the 4th one. Master Blue Dream hadn't even gone through the first one and was staying at the peak of Arcane Void. He wasn't afraid of death, but he still had things he hadn't finished, and he couldn't face the regret of failure. Over the tens of thousands of years, many talented people had been born in the inner and outer realms. Some of them had reached the third step, but to this day, only one person had gone through 8 arcane tribulants with the identity as a cave cultivator. Just one more and he could be considered an exalt. He was Old Ghost Jean. Back then, he failed his 5th arcane tribulant and should have died. The Sovereign knew this. However, what the Sovereign didn't know was that Old Ghost Jean had obtained a great celestial fortune. This celestial fortune caused his cultivation to erupt, and he had endured all the way to the 8th arcane tribulant and stopped before the 9th one. Those who reached the Void Tribulant stage on the immortal astral continent were considered Grand Exalts. This was a cultivation level at the peak of the third step, and if you could take that legendary step forward, you would trample the heavens. The 7-colored Celestial Sovereign was a Void Tribulant Exalt, only his cultivation level wasn't peak Void Tribulant but mid-stage Void Tribulant. Although he was only at the mid-stage, it allowed him to gain some fame on the immortal astral continent and start his own sect. He formed the 7 Dao sect. Wang Lin didn't know any of this, and at this moment, he didn't have time to think about it. At this moment, he opened his eyes and stood up, looking into the stars. He wasn't tall, but the aura he gave off felt like he could support the heavens. His back was toward the inner realm, and he gave off a sense of security like the ancient blessing. 1. His eyes were filled with calmness, and he walked forward. With this step, he landed on the dying realm ceiling formation. The formation trembled and revealed a light that was far weaker than before. While pondering, Wang Lin raised his right foot and stomped down. With a bang, the entire realm ceiling formation trembled and a large, net-like structure appeared. The formation revealed itself all over the inner realm. Even the tens of thousands of cultivators recovering in all heaven opened their eyes and saw the realm ceiling formation. The power of this step caused the formation to appear completely. Only by making it reveal itself could Wang Lin allow the dying formation to finish the last of its life. You have sealed the inner and outer realms for many years. You have prevented the outer realm from invading for countless years and are a guardian for the inner realm. Because of this, I will bow to you. Wang Lin clasped his hands and bowed at the realm ceiling formation. But similarly, because of your existence, there were rarely any third-step cultivators in my inner realm. As a result, the power balance between the inner and outer realm became disproportionate. Your presence trapped and sealed my inner realm. Wang Lin raised his hand and mercilessly pressed down. The karma print appeared as Wang Lin's palm fell. Then his fingers clenched into a fist and he pulled out. Karma, extract the spirits. Wang Lin roared. As his right hand pulled back, the formation trembled violently. A bolt of thunder was extracted from the formation. It was an illusory lance formed by thunder. This lance contained endless thunder and was the holy treasure of the Scatter Thunder clan. Wang Lin squeezed and the thunder lance collapsed. Countless bolts of thunder scattered in all directions and lit up the surrounding space. Since the thunder lance was first fused into the formation, this was the first time it was extracted and destroyed. From now on, this spirit would no longer exist inside the formation. When the lance collapsed, the formation began to tremble and fine cracks appeared on it. I don't know who created you, but you're dying today, so disappear. I, Wang Lin, will set up another formation. This formation will be born only from my inner realm, will exist only from my inner realm, and will completely belong to my inner realm. Wang Lin raised his right hand and slammed down on the formation 6 times. 6 rumbles, 6 karmas, and 6 clenched fists. The formation began to immediately collapse for real. The endless net began to rumble and shatter. Blood-red light appeared before Wang Lin, and the whole formation seemed to give off a blood light. A painful howl that seemed like it could collapse the world echoed. The 9-head meteor mace suddenly appeared with the howl. The mace trembled and black blood dripped from the heads. However, after leaving the formation, it collapsed and disappeared before Wang Lin. After the meteor hammer, a heat wave surged and a huge fire catapult appeared. Countless inner and outer realm cultivators had died to it, but most of them were inner realm cultivators. At this moment, the catapult was pulled out and was rapidly torn into mist. It then rapidly dissipated. After the catapult, a golden light shined and a golden blade appeared. After the golden light, it was a monstrous, purple light. A giant, purple whip appeared. It was covered in runes and twisted like a python. After the whip, the formation trembled and ancient aura appeared. A giant wolf stick appeared, and it was covered in thorns. There were also countless restless ghosts around it, showing how much it had killed before. However, as soon as these formation spirits appeared, they all exploded. They disappeared forever from this world, disappeared from the realm ceiling formation. What was destroyed with them was another formation spirit that hadn't taken shape and was still a mass of fog. The moment it appeared, it collapsed. Now 7 of the 9 formation spirits had been destroyed. Wang Lin's expression was calm as he looked at the realm ceiling formation that had lost 6 formation spirits. It began an irreversible collapse, causing thunder rumbles to echo. It began to collapse across the entire inner realm. All the inner realm cultivators could see the realm ceiling formation collapse layer by layer. There was no longer any obstruction between the inner and outer realms. The 8th formation spirit, my ancient clan's holy treasure, the heaven-splitting axe. Will you return to my hand or be destroyed along with this formation? I'll give you the choice. Wang Lin raised his right hand and a thunderous rumble echoed. The 8th formation spirit appeared. The power of this spirit was beyond the previous 7. This spirit was the ancient god's holy treasure, the heaven-splitting axe. As the rumble echoed and the formation collapsed, a giant axe shadow carrying dense ancient god aura slowly flew out. 1. The spell his ancient gauntlet has. When the axe appeared, ancient god aura rolled out like ocean waves. This aura caused the realm sealing formation to tremble even more violently. Thunderous rumbles echoed in one's ears and continued to linger. If you closed your eyes, you would feel the endless slaughter the axe had faced in its countless years of existence. Many lives had been ended by this axe. The moment the axe appeared, Wang Lin stood before it. He saw countless illusory souls filled with grievance surround the axe, letting out ghostly howls. From a distance, they looked like a lot of bumps. It looked as if the axe carried death souls and came out of the underworld. It was a shocking scene. After it appeared, it didn't dissipate like the other 7 spirits. It floated there and became even more solid. It was as if it had intelligence and was making a choice. Would it choose to recognize Wang Lin as its master, or destroy itself? Time slowly passed. The rumble of the realm sealing formation became even louder. After 15 minutes, Wang Lin frowned, seeing the axe remain motionless. Since you're not willing to follow me, then vanish. Wang Lin raised his right hand and pressed down on the heaven-splitting axe. The formation collapsed even faster and the axe trembled, and its giant body flew toward Wang Lin. In an instant, the heaven-splitting axe seemed to break free from the realm-sealing formation. It let out a heaven-splitting howl as it chopped down on Wang Lin. A mere royal ancient god treasure dares to hurt me. There was a flash of coldness in Wang Lin's eyes and he stepped forward. His body instantly swelled up to more than 10,000 feet tall, transforming into his ancient god body. This tens of thousands of feet body was like a giant standing on the realm-sealing formation. The axe closed in and Wang Lin threw a punch at it. Thunderous rumbles spread like crazy and space itself trembled. The realm-sealing formation shattered and collapsed even more. The heaven-splitting axe couldn't chop down and was knocked back by the power of Wang Lin's punch. However, it also wasn't easy for Wang Lin. He was knocked back thousands of feet. A deep cut that reached his bones appeared on his fist, and even the bones were cracked. The heaven-splitting axe was extremely powerful. While retreating, Wang Lin's eyes shined, and as his right hand recovered, he reached out. A monstrous blood light appeared along with the blood sword. He waved his hand and the blood sword expanded to 1,000 feet. The blood light was extremely dazzling. Holding the blood sword, Wang Lin charged forward. He raised the blood sword high up and sliced down. A monstrous ray of sword energy shot out toward the heaven-splitting axe. They were both invincible treasures and they collided countless times, causing thunderous rumbles. The sword and axe continued to collide, but the axe was still slightly inferior. After all, it had no one to control it and was moving based on the treasure spirit. It was being pushed back. Countless sword marks appeared on the axe and the light from the axe became unstable. Wang Lin's sword fell and he roared, "I give you one last chance to recognize me as your owner." There was a thunderous bang as the axe was knocked down. There was a bang and it opened a giant rift in space. The blood sword in Wang Lin's hand disappeared, and at the same time, he stepped forward. Just as the axe flew toward the rift and its monstrous ancient god power spread out, Wang Lin grabbed the axe handle. Wang Lin's right hand mercilessly held on, and no matter how much the heaven-splitting axe struggled, it couldn't escape. However, at this time, the shadow of an ancient god appeared on the head of the axe and seemed to let out a roar. It was impossible to see his face clearly, but he rushed like a gust of wind toward Wang Lin as if he wanted to devour him. The shadow was tens of thousands of feet tall and was shaped like a cone. He was larger at the higher part of his body. It was like smoke that expanded countless fold as it flew up. This shadow was the treasure spirit of the heaven-splitting axe. It rushed toward Wang Lin along with a howl. Wang Lin's 10,000-foot body was like a teen before a man in his prime. It felt like Wang Lin had no chance to resist. However, Wang Lin stared at the eyes of the shadow rushing at him and let out a roar. "You dare? I'm a royal ancient god and I have the inheritance of the ancient ones. You want to devour me? You're courting death." Behind Wang Lin, the giant ancient head appeared and roared with him. It was as if a hurricane had swept by from the void and landed on the shadow from the heaven-splitting axe. The shadow let out a scream in fear and rapidly retreated. His body was torn apart but quickly reformed. After it reformed, his body trembled and struggled to bow at Wang Lin. Then he quickly returned back into the heaven-splitting axe and disappeared. The heaven-splitting axe no longer struggled and slowly calmed down. Wang Lin grabbed the axe, bit the tip of his tongue, and spat out blood. A blood-colored mark landed on the axe and fused with it. The heaven-splitting axe had submitted. This time, he had suppressed the axe with his own strength. Back then, he lacked the cultivation and required the help of the previous Lord of the Sealed Realm to control this axe. Armed with the giant axe, his white hair fluttered. At this moment, Wang Lin was no different from his statue on planet Suzaku. He waved his right hand and the heaven-splitting axe turned into specks of golden light and disappeared into this ancient god stars. Wang Lin looked down at the collapsing realm ceiling formation and his eyes revealed a strange light. This last spirit was the most powerful, and the previous Lord of the Sealed Realm had integrated himself into this spirit to control the formation. However, when the gap appeared and all those other things happened, the Lord of the Sealed Realm's soul had died. This also caused the final spirit to lose some vitality. This was related to the reason why the formation was dying. Wang Lin raised his right hand and formed a palm. Wang Lin used the karma print. His palm descended and clenched into a fist. The collapsing realm ceiling formation released a loud sound as if it was struggling for the last time in its life. As it trembled, a broken jade was extracted. This jade had deep rifts on it and contained more than 10 cracks. One of them was obviously created about 100 years ago. It lacked the ancient auras the other cracks had. Although there were many rifts on the jade, one could still see the word carved on its surface. This word was simple, it was the word celestial. Celestial. As the jade was extracted by Wang Lin's karma print, the realm ceiling formation began its final collapse. The layers of net surrounding the 4 major star systems collapsed. This collapse was complete, absolute, and irreversible. As it collapsed, the remaining cultivators in the 4 major star systems were all shocked. The star system itself seemed to be churning and the realm ceiling formation that had trapped the inner realm for tens of thousands of years was shattering. In the cloud sea, Mu Bingmai, the woman in pink, and Shizifan had gathered together. They stopped flying as they looked at the star system around them. They were still a distance away from Wang Lin. However, when the realm ceiling formation collapsed, they couldn't move forward, so they gathered together. They watched the giant net below them shatter, and the shock this brought caused their faces to turn pale. Wang Lin looked at the jade, and after pondering a bit, he waved his right hand. With that, the jade completely flew out from the realm ceiling formation. The moment it flew out, it was like a tree without roots or a fish out of water. It scattered into dust. As the jade shattered, the realm ceiling formation suddenly collapsed. At this moment, the brilliant void no longer had the realm ceiling formation around it. The summoned river was completely exposed to the outer realm. At this moment, all heaven and the cloud sea were completely free. After tens of thousands of years, the barrier between the inner and outer realms had disappeared, they were one again. The realm ceiling formation that seemed to have existed forever and was remembered by generation after generation had collapsed and vanished. Without the realm ceiling formation, the mysterious force stopping the inner realm from gathering Joss flame disappeared. At this moment in all heaven, all the third step cultivators revealed looks of excitement. Not even Qing Lin was an exception. Wang Lin had destroyed the realm ceiling formation. Throughout the ages, he was the first person to do this. The first to have the courage to destroy the realm ceiling formation after slaughtering the invading outer realm cultivators. His name was destined to be passed down for tens of thousands of years in this cultivation world because he was the Lord of the Sealed Realm. Not the Seven Dao Sect's Lord of the Sealed Realm, not the Lord of the Sealed Realm under the seven-colored celestial sovereign's command, but the Lord of the Sealed Realm of the Inner Realm Cultivators. He was going to take the Inner Realm Cultivators out of this cave and shock the immortal astral continent. The formation being destroyed didn't mean that everything was over. Creating a new formation that belonged to Wang Lin and Inner Realm was a new beginning. This was the first step toward Wang Lin's plan to killing the Celestial Sovereign. The realm sealing formation collapsed and the aura from the ancient star system entered, shrouding the Inner Realm. This aura was unfamiliar but at the same time familiar. At the earliest time, before the realm sealing formation appeared, the inner and outer realms were one. Countless mortals had breathed this aura and countless cultivators had cultivated this aura. A few third-step cultivators had borrowed this aura to create their own Joss Flame realms to gather Joss Flames to help themselves cultivate. However, after the realm sealing formation was set up, all the Joss Flames were extracted from the inner realm until none remained. This created a vicious cycle for tens of thousands of years until the inner realm couldn't compare to the outer realm at all. However, today, the aura that had been gone for so long returned to the inner realm, like a wandering child that was locked out of his home. One day, the door will open and the child will return. The unfamiliar yet familiar aura surrounded the four major star systems. If you were to say this aura revitalized everything, it would be exaggerating. However, its existence allowed the inner realm cultivators that had just won a tragic victory to feel hope. Layers of formation net continued to disintegrate until they disappeared completely. During these hours, the rumbles echoed across space. As the formation collapsed, the sound went into the ancient star system. This caused the minds of the outer realm cultivators to tremble. Those with high cultivation levels and a few third-step cultivators flew out and looked toward the direction of the inner realm. They may not be able to see from where they were, but they clearly felt the aura of the ancient star system rushing over as if it was going to fill the inner realm. It was unknown who flew out in shock, but more outer realm cultivators flew out from all over the ancient star system toward the inner realm. They wanted to see what would happen to the inner realm after the realm sealing formation collapsed. Wang Lin stood among the stars and calmly looked at the realm sealing formation that had dissipated. He felt the aura of the ancient star system, and his eyes shined brightly. After a long time, he slowly raised his right hand and waved. He let out a sound that echoed across all four major star systems in the inner realm. This sound was like an eternal thunderclap, but everyone who heard it could clearly hear his words. Today, I destroyed the realm sealing formation and will create another one. This formation will have no name. As Wang Lin's words spread out, he waved his arms. The giant three-essence wheel flew out and stood before him. A buzzing sound echoed and the giant wheel began to grow and spread out in all directions. It turned from more than 10,000 feet to millions, tens of millions, until it was endless. It would replace the realm sealing formation and become the new formation. As it spread, thunderous rumbles echoed. As it continued to spread, Wang Lin's eyes revealed a strange light. He pointed at the void above. All the treasures that were destroyed in these 100 years and all the treasure spirits that dissipated in the previous wars. Today, I, Wang Lin, call upon your spirits to come from the void and enter my formation to become eternal. Wang Lin's voice contained the power of essence as well as his lifetime of comprehension. At this moment, an invisible ripple spread out with him as the center through the cloud sea, all heaven, the brilliant void, and the summoned river. As his voice echoed after the ripple passed, colorful shadows appeared out of nowhere. These shadows were swords, blades, and various treasures. These treasures were all broken. They had already been broken and had dissipated, but they had spirit. These spirits heard Wang Lin's promise of eternity and all appeared. After pondering for a bit, they all flew toward the three-essence wheel. As they fused with it, they caused the expanding wheel to give off a powerful sense of majesty. After millions of treasure spirits fused with it, the wheel gave off a powerful life force. The masters of all those treasure spirits had died and the spirits should have disappeared. However, there was a reincarnation cycle in this world, and those treasure spirits had walked out from the reincarnation cycle. treasure spirits appeared from everywhere within the 4 major star systems and fused into the wheel. As they fused, the rapidly rotating wheel gained extreme wisdom. All the innocent cultivation planets that collapsed during this battle, you all have souls and you all have your own strange ways of life. However, over the millions of years, countless of you have shattered. Today, I call you all to enter my formation and become eternal. Wang Lin's eyes were filled with sadness as he spoke softly. As his words echoed, countless illusory shadows of planets appeared all over the 4 empty major star systems. There were many cultivation planets. They had long been destroyed, but their souls were unwilling to dissipate. When Wang Lin voiced his promise of eternal life, they all appeared. As the souls of the planets appeared, every piece of dust, every meteorite, and every piece of broken continent trembled. A howl echoed across the all 4 major star systems. Those countless dust particles, meteorites, and broken continents flew with the planet souls toward the rotating essence wheel. As they continued to integrate, the essence wheel gained a physical form and erupted with a pressure that was beyond this world. Wang Lin waved his hand and the wheel continued to expand. It eventually shrouded the cloud seal and spread to all heaven. It completely covered the summoned river and the brilliant void. The inner realm cultivators were all excited as they looked at the wheel formation that replaced the collapsed realm ceiling formation. Their mood was something that was rarely experienced in their lives. In the blink of an eye, a new formation appeared, blocking the outer realm out, but it didn't stop the aura of the outer realm from entering. This formation was a wheel that was endless in size. It would last longer than the realm ceiling formation, and its appearance established a new age. The countless outer realm cultivators that died in my inner realm. You all have killed countless, and although you are all dead, you can't enter the reincarnation cycle. You all have to atone for your sins. Today, I, Wang Lin, will gather your soul fragments together and make you slaves to push my wheel, to work forever and never be free. Wang Lin's eyes opened and his hand formed a seal before pushing down at the void. With this, a storm was set off in the inner realm. This storm was formed by Wang Lin's spell and soul. A silent roar that only Wang Lin could feel echoed across the 4 star systems of the inner realm. Distorted soul fragments appeared among the stars. They all had ferocious expressions and struggled. However, they immediately let out cries in fear as Wang Lin's soul storm gathered them up and fused them into the wheel. Some of these soul fragments had died during the last 100 years, but even more were people that had died during the previous wars against the outer realm. The storm raged and swept by Mu Bingmai and company. It swept through Cloud Sea, filled all heaven, then passed the summoned river before it went across the brilliant void and came back. The mournful soul fragments all roared in fear as they were captured and sealed into the wheel. In particular, in the battlefield of the first battle in the Cloud Sea, there were more than 100,000 soul fragments. They were all sealed into the wheel. Also, in all heaven, there were hundreds of thousands of soul fragments. Silent roars echoed, but none of them could escape their punishment. These soul fragments couldn't enter the reincarnation cycle and couldn't be reborn, they were already dead. A soul fragment was the resentment created after death. Without something to gather them all, they would remain invisible. Usually, creatures that absorbed this aura would become very cruel. Resentment had a great effect on cultivators, especially on cultivators with weak cultivation. Their so-called souls all came from these soul fragments. As all the soul fragments from all the dead outer realm cultivators from all the wars that had taken place gathered in the wheel formation, then the souls began to appear around the wheel. Their arms pushed the huge wheel and, with millions of soul fragments, the wheel began to rotate. Every turn would cause these soul fragments to let out painful roars as if it was crushing them. However, the more pain they felt, the harder they pushed. This cycle would last forever. In a realm, all the seniors that died during the previous wars, and fellow cultivators. Today, I, Wang Lin, am disturbing your resting souls to awaken you. Are you all willing to become this formation's immortal formation spirit? Become souls that will be worshipped by generations of my inner realm cultivators. If you all willing, I ask all of you to come. Wang Lin clasped his hands at the stars. This video will end here.